Now, a decision on controversial plans to fence off a Peterborough playing field has finally been brought forward. There's been a long-standing row over Werrington Fields, with residents who use it opposing the plans. Peterborough City Council now says a third of the fields will be fenced off by the local academy amid concerns for pupil safety. Cllr John Howard is the deputy leader of Peterborough City Council. John, good morning.
Good morning, Dottie. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Thanks for coming on the show. It's been quite the thorny topic, this. I've even seen a suggestion of disagreement over who decides whether a fence goes up. Is it your decision at the council, or is it the decision of the school nearby?
Well, Dottie, it wouldn't be politics without some disagreement, would it? But I think the main thing is it's the school's decision now to decide how much fencing they need, and they're the discussions that we've had with them very recently to get a full understanding of what they need.
So why does the school get to decide? Because isn't it council-owned land?
The land has been, so the land surrounding the school has been transferred to the academy. So obviously we came in as a new political administration on the 1st of November, and the decision to convert the school to an academy and therefore lease the land to them was made before us. So it's taken us some time, Dottie, to look through previous decision making and policy making and get to the bottom of this. And I think that's the sad thing, is that this has been ongoing since 2019, and it's regrettable that decision making wasn't made before this time, really, because for the sake of the children, it should have been.
OK, so the school leases the land from Peterborough City Council, and they get to decide whether to fence it in, and local people don't have any say in that, or?
Well, there's been a lot of consultation about it, but the school, with the arrangements they've made, they're going to fence off a third of the fields. So 2/3 of the fields will still be open to the public all the time. And the academy is still very proactive in the community in that they want to convert the land to sort of a joint community use, where people will still be able to use the land, outside of school hours for the remaining third that they're taking. Which, when you think about it, Dottie, if children were out on the field, the public wouldn't necessarily go on that area of the field at the same time. So this community use agreement will make sure that the public and sports groups and user groups still have a chance to access it outside of school hours.
And if the school are leasing the field and deciding to put the fence up, are they going to pay for the fence?
There's a historical agreement there made that the council will cover that cost. And the reason being, Dottie, in fairness, this should have been done a long, long time ago. And at that time, the school would have been a maintained school where the council would have been responsible for paying for it. So as part of the agreement that was made in September to convert it to an academy, part of the agreement done at the time was that would still take place.
OK. Because I'm sure you've seen the Wayne Fitzgerald, who would have been then the leader of Peterborough City Council. He says he's got no idea of any agreement like that means that the council has to stump up the money.
Well, they were the administration at the time, Dottie, and, if they weren't aware that, only they can answer why they didn't have an awareness of such an important issue. We've now got, we've got a Conservative MP, really campaigning hard on this. We've now even got him putting his wife up as a candidate in the ward, and it all sort of beggars belief when you think, all these decisions were made under a Conservative administration. Now, if they really are saying that they had no knowledge of that, that's really, really poor. If that is the case.
So, what do you think's going on with all of that then?
I think, Dottie, we've got a legacy of this has been going on since 2019. And I think, in fairness, there are obviously difficult decisions to be made, and I think it's been left as long as humanly possible by decision makers long before I was involved in it, Dottie. And I understand.
But if the decision makers are the school, then why were the council involved anyway?
Well, we were involved from when the school was a maintained school by the council. That's how long this has been going on. So if that makes sense, and it was only transferred to the academy in September last year. So that is the most recent movement and decision making around this. In that gives the responsibility to the academy. But what I do disagree with is some people are trying to politicise the safety of children and children's education, and it's just not on. We all want, I'm a parent, Dottie, and, many parents listening out here will be exasperated that a secondary school can have no fence at all, where children can't even go out into the playing fields. Like, it sounds unbelievable. And to be fair, it is unbelievable. It needs to be resolved for the sake of the children and their education provision, and the safeguarding of them. It absolutely, we have to get a resolution on this.
Do you know how much the fence is going to cost? I
don't at this stage, no, Dottie. I can gladly come back and update you on that.
Well, I think it would be useful information, because if I were, say, a taxpayer in Werrington and I'd been campaigning against any fencing on this piece of land, I might be a bit cross that it's going to be, my money that's going to be paying for the fence that I don't want.
Agreed. I mean, I think the point is there, Dottie, that it always would have been paid by the council as a maintained school anyway. So it's a legacy of inaction, really, isn't in that this should have been done many years ago. The fence would have been paid many years ago, in fact, and it's just this backlog of indecision making that's got us to this point today.
Interesting. John, good to talk to you. Appreciate your time. Cllr John Howard, their Deputy Leader of Peterborough City Council. It's 23.